So I'm here today with Olivia Schireson, who told me recently we were talking about the prospect of her appearing on this podcast, and she said it's a disservice to your viewers that I haven't appeared yet. And so then I said, well, you've got to come on. And this was maybe like 3 weeks ago. And you said, I need to have a big result, like a worthy result. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Olivia? We came second in the mixed border match together. You are on the USA 1 team, playing in the Junior World Championships under 21. And then you went and played, but you were sort of like, you're finishing up your senior year of high school. And so you're finishing up your senior year and you're like, well, I'm going to play in the team trials, the mixed team trials. And then you go on and almost win the USA 2 spot in the mixed team trials. You finished third, like this Cinderella run. Anyway, we are righting wrongs having you on the setting trick.
Yeah, I'm just glad that the viewers are finally getting what they deserve with me being on the podcast. No, but thank you for having me. Super excited to be on. This should be fun.
I use your words, viewers. Like, I would be maybe a little cautious because I think more people probably interface with this podcast as listeners.
Oh,
So we recently, like in the last, 20 episodes, maybe we've started having a video component, but I think for the majority of people who interact with this podcast are probably listening. But anyway.
okay. Well, shout out to the listeners too. Yeah.
So okay. There's two ways I could go with the start here. I think I'm going to start about how we got to know each other.
I think that'd be fun.
So
Yeah.
I am friends with your dad. I've played the team trials with your dad the last 2 years as my teammate.
Yeah.
And in the Summer Nationals last year in Providence, we needed a woman to make a mixed team for the mixed border match. And I think I had probably met you before then, but I didn't really know you. I certainly knew your name. And we went on to finish second in that event, playing together for the first time.
Yeah.
And hit it off. We became like fast friends. Played in the World Championships mixed together in Poland.
Yeah.
And so that was, I would have rather been playing in the spin gold, but that was an unfortunate circumstance. But like, what a blessing it was, because we finished second in the mixed event, which we probably weren't going to do in the spin gold. And now I've got a great friend, like you're like a life. I think I'm so excited to have you on the podcast because you're so much fun to be around, even if whatever, I don't even care what the conversation is like you're just a super fun, good humored person who I really enjoy my friendship with. And so it's great to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you. I could say all the same things about you. That mixed team was honestly, I'm just really happy it happened because first of all, I got to meet you, play with you, and our team was so much fun. And obviously, it's nice to have a good result. It was also my first time playing with Michael Shu, who's my junior partner now. I'm pretty sure we hadn't ever played together, and now we're playing together in the under 21 World Championships. So it was a pretty special tournament that it was the night before we decided we were going to play, and then I happened to just play with two people that I would go on to play with a lot in the future and become good friends with. I was already friends with Michael, but yeah, that was definitely a super fun tournament.
What were your plans when we ended up playing that mixed border match? Like, did you have any plans for the next day?
Um, I don't remember, to be honest. I think I had a few things that were like, oh, maybe I could play with this person, maybe I could play with that person. It's a bit of a nice position because oftentimes it's a little easier to find teammates and partners for mixed events for a woman. So I wasn't super worried, but definitely when Michael Shu texted me, I was like pretty excited because I thought it would be a good team, we could do well, and it'd be a lot of fun. And I was right about all of that, but it ended up being a lot better than I could have imagined, both in terms of the result and what came of it. So yeah.
I think for me, like I had never even come close to finishing second in an event prior
Mm.
to that, and
Well,
so
you are a national champion now.
well, and that's true in mixed. I'm sorry, in border match.
Yeah,
Uh,
border match
so
specialist.
so I think for me, it gave me a lot of confidence,
Yeah,
like doing as well as we did,
yeah,
and I also think that I mean, it was not the spin gold. Like the quality of the opposition
yeah,
wasn't as tough as like a premier event, but at the same time, like doing well is great.
yeah. I think confidence in bridge is everything. Um, oh, I said confidence, not
Oh,
competence.
confidence.
No, I mean like I know you're fine with like confidence. Competence maybe you struggle with a little, but um, yeah, I think confidence is super important in bridge. Like I've heard from a lot of really great players that you can never play bridge scared. Like you always need to be confident in your actions because if you're not confident in what you do, then like why are you doing this play instead of that play? So that's definitely something that I'm working on, and I feel like when I'm confident is when I play best. Obviously, overconfidence is also a problem, but just having a baseline feeling like you can do well is, I think, very important. So, I mean, in that vein, what I'm hearing is that also I am responsible for your national championships. No?
Well, I will.
Like, does that also make me a national champion?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
Soon.
no.
I try my best.
I mean, having come in second though, it was like I didn't want to. I wanted to win that next
Yeah.
time. I mean, it was the next
Yeah.
tournament, and so
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a good like shift, but I knew what it was like to finish second, and I really wanted to win,
Yeah.
and I have to say, winning is better. I prefer winning.
Yeah, and then you did well in the Vanderbilt. You beat
Yes,
Lebowitz.
yes,
But
yeah.
yeah, I remember honestly after I was really sad after for a little bit, and then I was happy. But it was like the 30 minutes after I was like, no one talked to
Mm,
me. Because we came in, I think we came into the last session in first. I
yes.
remember Michael before the session said, don't tell me, because he didn't want to think about it at all. He didn't want to know if we were in last. He didn't want to know if we were in first, because he knew it would be a distraction for him. And the whole session, honestly, it wasn't the best session. It just kind of felt like it was like slipping through our fingers. And by
Mm,
the end, I had kind of like estimated I estimated a bit like maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I estimated about what our score probably was,
yeah.
just so that I could know like maybe it's time to be a little more aggressive, which is a little silly at BAM because
Mm,
the results just kind of like come sometimes.
yeah.
But I was just so sad playing the session. Like I was trying to play my best still, and I made some like good plays at the end, but like like I didn't let it distract me. But I was just really sad. I felt like at the beginning we had already blown in and we didn't have a chance, and then it ended, and then I wouldn't have really been sad if we were like fourth. But when we were second, and it
Yeah.
was like I felt like we had already blown it, but actually we were still right there in it. I
Yeah.
don't know, something about that made it hurt more, but then after um after I got over that pretty quickly, and then I was just really happy to have come in second in a national championship. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could say a lot more about that.
Mhm.
Because Joyce Hill, the team that won was sponsored by Joyce Hill, and she's a client, and she was playing the afternoon session, and so that seemingly was good for us. And I remember, I probably have told this story on here before, but I remember the way that I found out that they won and not us was because that they were celebrating after they compared, and I thought there's no way that they're celebrating like that if they didn't win. And they were in second place coming
Mhm.
into the event, or coming into the last session. And the last thing I'll say is that I felt like it slipped away in Phoenix when we won our Border match. And so when they told when the woman from the bulletin,
Was it
Amy
Amy Casanova?
Casanova, when she
Yeah.
said, stick around for a photo, I was like, what? No way. No way. So,
Yeah. So, the border match was in Phoenix, right? You said?
yeah, the one that we won,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was a really special tournament. I remember I was already really excited when you guys won, and then Kevin and Finn's team just kept winning. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knocked us out of the solo actually. We played them in the last round of the
Oh.
qualifying. And if we had just tied, I think we would have both qualified, but they beat us by 20 something, 20 and change.
Oof. That's
So,
tough. Yeah.
sometimes it's a good thing when you lose, or you don't get to play.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what do you so like you're 18, you're about to graduate. Today's May 22nd, so like you're
Oh,
graduating from high
shoot.
school.
Oh
When's
God.
what are you going to graduate?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm actually done with all my like classes.
Yeah.
We have we have senior internships right now. I was working on my senior internships during the trials. Don't worry.
Really?
A little bit, yeah.
What's your senior internship?
It's with the American Contract Breach League Education Foundation.
Oh,
Yeah. And
I'm on the
Berlin
board of
is.
that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you would have never signed off on the Olivia internship had you known.
Well, I thought at one point you were going to be shooting a film at the trials,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was going to be possibly like the professional person that you were, I don't know, using my credentials
Yeah.
to give you credibility or something like that. But
Yeah.
that went by the wayside,
I wa
unfortunately.
I wanted a bridge related internship where I could do an internship and also have maybe slightly more flexible hours than a usual internship.
Right. Right.
And I think that's, I mean, an internship with the Education Foundation is just like perfect for that. But I wasn't, I mean, I was expecting to play the trials for 2 days and then we ended up playing 9 days.
Mm,
But I literally, my last day of school was the day before trials.
yeah.
I took I took an AP test. I took the AP physics test. Honestly, that test was like murder. That test was the worst test I've ever taken in my entire life. Like it wasn't just me. They literally make the test so that you can't finish it in time.
Yeah.
They're just evil for some
Yeah.
reason on that test. So I just take this absolutely brutal test. I go to the airport from school, fly to Chicago, land. I got to the hotel at maybe like 1 or like 12:30, I don't know. And this is AM. And I was just starving. I was like, I need to eat. Like I
Yeah.
can't fall asleep this hungry, so I ordered food. I went to bed at like maybe like 1:30 or something, I don't know. And then The next day, Sam likes to play in the morning, so I just got up, played the morning sessions. So yeah, it was definitely an immediate transition for me to from school to the trials.
Bridge Pro. So tell us about your team then. Tell us, like, you guys, I mean, I looked at so there were 10 teams playing and you guys did a complete round robin?
Yes, every team played each other once.
How
I
many
think it was
boards?
10 boards, so 90 board round robin for the qualification. I was not so good in the round robin. I was, I don't know, I just like hadn't really gotten into a rhythm, especially I feel like because I came right from school.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a harsh adjustment.
Yeah.
And actually, I think, well, I played like, I think we only played like 4 matches in the round robin or something, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And I think we like tied 2 and lost 2. So I actually didn't win any matches in the round robin.
Yeah.
But it was smooth sailing from there out.
But
We
I
were,
remember I remember looking at the standings in the round robin and you guys like pretty close to the end. I don't think you guys were qualifying when I looked.
yeah, no, we needed to win our last match, and we needed because we were in 9th place and we were playing the 10th place team, or maybe it was the other way around, but I'm pretty sure we were in 9th place. So we needed one of the teams in like 6th or 7th or 8th to like lose, not like not lose huge, but lose, and we needed to win by a decent amount in order to qualify. It wasn't impossible, obviously, but it really didn't look like we were that likely to make it. And then we made it, and then we didn't really expect much. And we won a match, we won another match, we won another match, and all of a sudden it's 1 match away from going to Marrakesh.
Mm.
But I mean, against that Rosenthal team, I had absolutely no expectations
Yeah.
for winning that match. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Definitely ended differently than it had started.
I mean, you were there for
Yeah.
9 days. I was there for
Yeah.
2 days playing with your dad. That was so frustrating. I got invited to play in the mixed, and I would have liked to, but I didn't want to go home and then go back to Chicago. So I could have changed history.
Yeah, I mean, you and my dad have had some like pretty epic first round matches in the Open. Unfortunately, you guys haven't had a second round match in the Open together
Yeah.
yet, but
I've never won a match in the trials.
I mean, it's a tougher, much tougher event than the mixed. Like, you guys played who? Fleischer?
2 years ago, or last year we played Fleischer. This year we
Yeah.
played Kevin and Brian Platnick and Bart and Kit, Bart and Kit were on Fleischer last year.
Oh, I see. I mean, those are both just like super tough teams, and even just being right there with them for 2 days of bridge is like something definitely to be very proud of.
Yeah, I'm tired of the moral victory. And even this year, we were close through 6 segments, but there are 8 segments, and they pretty much blitzed us the last 2 segments. So
Come on, you got to be clutch.
it was yeah, it was, and I made the last segment was really a bummer because I told some people to watch, and then I had a couple of bad boards, and
Yeah, I think I remember you texted me, "Don't watch."
yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. You're seemingly rooting for us.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. I mean, that team is like all my favorite people, you know? I mean, I was also happy for Kevin Rosenberg, who I've known for like pretty much as long as I've played bridge. But Debbie Rosenberg, same with Kevin. I mean, I'm a huge fan of all the Rosenbergs. Hard to be a junior that grows up in the Bay Area and not be a huge fan of the Rosenbergs. And then Will Watson, who has he used to mentor me everyone here also loves Will. He's just like super, super nice. He's a
Right.
great
That was my
player.
partner in the trials for those who
Yeah,
Debbie was playing with Max, Olivia's dad, and I was playing
yeah.
with Will Watson.
So hard not to root for my dad and three friends.
Mm,
But I was also very happy for Kevin, although I was maybe a little disappointed.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah. It was sweet when we came in second in the BAM. I remember Debbie coming when around the ending of the session to see what she could definitely tell that she was rooting for us,
yeah.
and that was it was cool. Like it's cool to be on a team that people are rooting for.
That's why you gotta have me on your team more often.
Yeah, you won the. I was on your website earlier today. I saw
Oh
you won
God.
the Joan Girard Sportsmanship Award at one of the junior championships.
Yeah, yeah. That was the Transnational Youth Championship this last summer, in Italy. It was a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends, and yeah.
Do you
I
know
mean,
who nominated you for the award? Because I read that it can't be somebody from your country.
um, I honestly don't know. I made a lot of friends from different countries though, because if I remember, most of the people from the US were playing in under 26. I was playing in under 21.
Hmm.
So they were kind of doing their own thing a little bit. I made friends, did my own thing a little bit, I guess. So I honestly don't know. But yeah, I mean,
How did you do at like results wise in that tournament?
bad. Yeah, we did not do so well. We didn't make it to the knockout stage of the under 21, and we played the consolation BAM. We had like a good first day, but there was no carryover. It was just like a cut line, and then the second day was a little bit of a mess. So it was a little disappointing, but still, I mean, I it's one of my favorite bridge tournaments that I've ever been to. It was just super fun to meet a bunch of young bridge players from around the world, and just, I mean, we all love to play bridge. At night, people would be just like hanging out, playing bridge. So super. I'm still really, really glad that I went, and I had a great time, even though I it would have been nice to do better, but that's okay.
And that's a cool award that you got. Like I've never been in contention for the in any of the endeavors that I've participated in. I have never been in contention for the sportsmanship award. It seems like since we played in Providence, it seems like just my observation is that you've gotten a lot more serious about bridge. And I don't know if that I could be wrong about that, but were you already on track for that, or am I right?
So I think I've cared about being the best like bridge player I can be for a while, but I also sometimes struggle to like get the best out of myself.
Yeah.
So I think I I've done a better job of like getting the best out of myself since then. And that's probably contributed to me like getting a little more solid. I mean, it's still not as solid as I'd like to be. I'm always trying to improve, but I think that's probably a contributor. Even though I've always like, not always. I actually didn't like bridge when I first played it,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely for some time I've cared a lot about the game. But I think it's just been a matter of like putting the pieces together. Yeah.
I mean, I think before we played in Poland, you were doing a lot of Bridge Master problems.
Yeah. And I mean, Bridgemaster problems are like they're 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 good, and like they can help you learn how to think about some hands, but I just think they aren't necessarily the most practical in terms of just like pure improvement, because it's not that often that like a Bridgemaster level 5 actually happens at the table.
Yeah.
And it, if you do like 20 Bridgemaster level 5s versus if you do two, I don't know how much it's gonna improve your chances of even getting it right. So I think probably more practical methods are just like practicing board review, reading, and I think I've shifted more towards that than to just like Bridgemaster, which I used to do a ton.
Well, on Bridge Winners, the currently the top article is about a false card that you made in the mixed finals of the mixed trials. And also Dave Caprera, who's been a guest on the podcast, was very complimentary of how you played in the match versus them. So you're getting a lot of love from on Bridge Winners, which has got to be like how what's that like for you?
Um, I don't know. It's a little. I mean, of course it's nice, but it's also just like a little. It's like interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to explain.
How did you find out about the Dave Caprera compliment first?
Well, Dave and I had like talked a decent bit at trials. He lives in Colorado, and I'm taking a gap year next year. But after that, I'm going to Colorado College.
Boo.
So we had talked at trials and played against each other. We were screen mates once. So I talked to Dave a bit and become friends with him, and then saw his comment, which was nice. Yeah, but so for the viewers and listeners,
Thank you for being inclusive. The inclusive
yes,
language I
I don't
appreciate.
wanna I don't wanna leave anyone out.
Yeah.
But basically the false card, there was like Ace King fifth in the dummy, and I was sitting over dummy
In a side suit.
in a side suit, and I Declare played a trick to like the ace or king, and I dropped the jack from queen jack third.
Didn't they? And they had Declare had 10-9 Doubleton, I think, too.
Yeah,
Right?
something like that. I don't know. Dummy didn't have the eight. Dummy had the seven. It was diamonds. I always remember the beer card. Anyways, it was. I felt bad for Amber because it was like the last round. We were down by 100 or something.
Still playing.
Still playing. I felt a little bad that we were still playing because I know some people like to go to dinner, but I mean, it's like we get to play bridge. It's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We can play. It's just fine. But I was just trying to play quickly, and I was not always awake during that set. I don't think I like lit imps on fire or anything, but like I wasn't
Yeah.
like I was just playing pretty quickly, and so was Chris Willinkin, and I think Sam was playing probably a little faster than usual. So then poor Amber was playing this slam and had to decide as this idiot who's been going just as fast as she can pretty much all set. Has she actually done something good? And not unreasonably, she decided no. So I just felt pretty bad for her, honestly, because people in the comments were talking about like should she have gotten this right? And nobody knew the state of this match because we were also screen mates. We were sharing a room, She knew I was I was just having a good time, honestly. And so there was no way that she possibly could have like played me for like making an awake play. So after the board, I felt bad. I was just like sorry because like in different circumstances, she definitely could have gotten that right, but like I genuinely think with this context, she made the right play and she was just doomed to fail because like I remember thinking I was very lucky to have been awake in that moment because the rest of the match or the rest of that set of 15 boards I was not. Yeah, but that's for the viewers and listeners, that's we're talking about Amber Lynn. She's a very strong player and she made a very reasonable play to fall for my false card there, but she's one of my closest bridge friends, and I mean it was just super fun to like get to also hang out with her for 9 days, and I'm super happy for her that she's representing the U.S. Playing with Crystal Lincoln on the Rosenthal team. So yeah, it's just a funny board.
Did you know that Adam was writing this article, or?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
So did you just see Honest Jack on Bridge the front? It's like the number one featured article right now. Did you see it? Did you come by it like innocently? Like you clicked on it? You're like, oh my God.
I saw Honest Jack and I was like, oh, wait, maybe. Because this was, because I know Adam had done a little bit of commentary on some of the boards, and also this was like pretty shortly after the play had happened. Like Honest Jack has no other meaning than a false card with a jack.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't sure until I clicked. But yeah, it was nice of him to write the article.
That's got to be a nice feeling. I mean, maybe like your point's well taken about the match not being in question at the time.
I mean, you are no stranger to also having a Bridge Runners article written about your false cards against a slam or a grand slam, actually.
I think you're the only person who's ever written one, but yes.
that was still
sweet.
Might be the most incredible thing I've ever seen about at the bridge table. Like, that's just like something, that's a play that you dream of. So for the viewers and listeners, when I was playing with John in Poland, we were defending a grand slam in match points that nobody else was going to be in. Like, nobody else was going to be in this grand slam, and it was kind of obvious when we saw the dummy. And Declare had ace and 1 opposite king jack 9 fourth. So Declare needed 2 pitches from this suit, and the only way for Declare to do this was either to drop queen 10 doubleton or stiff queen offside and then finesse the 10. And our boy John, the host of all hosts, the host with the most, on this hand definitely with the most, he dropped queen from queen 10 doubleton behind the king jack 9 fourth, so that Declare pretty much had no choice but to finesse the 9 into John's 10. And if he had just played the 10, then Declare would have had no choice but to drop his queen 10. Otherwise, Declare would know that they were for sure going down. And he just like didn't even think about it. He just did it. I can only like, that is like my biggest dream in life is to make a play like that. Like, that was so incredible. It was literally an entire board. It was it was a complete top versus a complete bottom. Like, this was like 10 seconds left on the clock, half court heave. Like, yeah. So I wrote an article about that and I posted it on Bridge Winners because I just think that was so incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
We have, by the way, Andrew Robson did a thing on that, and so we'll put that in the show notes on the website, okay. So you can see all of it. And you'll see that I actually made a lead. So I preempted in diamonds and Olivia raised me, and now they bid this grand slam, and I was like, there can't be bidding a grand slam if they've got the king of diamonds here when we bid and raised diamonds. Well, so I led my ace of diamonds, and now,
They can't be, they can't be bidding a grand slam if you have the ace of diamonds and neither one of them has a void.
I'm like, they don't have the king. They're not bidding grand slam. Like literally, the auction was Polish. So pass, Polish club. Now I bid 3 diamonds with a pretty good hand, and now lefty passed, I think, and you bid 5 diamonds.
I think it was 4, but maybe
No,
not.
I think you bid 5 diamonds, and now the strong hand bid 5 hearts. Their partner raised to 6 hearts, and now he bid 7. And I had Jack. What I have? Jack 4th of hearts. 6 4. No, I had Jack 3rd of hearts. Anyway, I thought there's no way. I had Ace Queen Jack 6 of diamonds. I thought there's no way they're bidding a grand slam and the king of diamonds is amongst their holdings. So I lead the ace, and now the king appears in the dummy, and leading the ace was the only way they even had a chance. But it's good because then I got to make this false card.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end. So, John, I just have a quick lesson for you, which is that typically when the opponents bid a grand slam to make,
Yeah.
they have good cards. So I have a question for you. Is the king of diamonds, would you say that's a good card or a bad card?
I guess
I'm just messing with you.
I guess from this.
I mean, yeah, no, I do understand your reasoning because I have to have something in my hand to be like jumping. I'm probably not going to do that with like terrible diamonds most of the time unless I have like maybe something outside. So I definitely do understand. Like you're thinking this card has to be somewhere. It's probably with my partner, not with them. And then that day, it was just your unlucky day until it was your not lucky, incredible day.
Exactly.
Yeah. I almost jumped out of my chair. Like at first, I didn't even quite realize what happened. Like I just saw that Queen of Clubs on the table, and I was like, "Oh shoot, okay, Declare is gonna get all these pitches." Like Declare. I was like, yeah. And then I saw the 10, and I was like, "There's no way." He just like, "There's no way." Yeah. Yeah. But we had a lot of fun in Poland. I remember our teammates were Adi, Asulin. Wait, can we cut this out?
We're not kidding.
Wait, why am
No.
Why am I? Oh my god.
Come on, you got it. Ami
Zamir. Okay, I was remembering his partner's name. Ami Zamir. Ami, if for some reason you're listening to this, I'm so sorry because I've also I've seen Ami like a bunch of times after that. Like we always say hi to each other. But anyways.
This is the first time that somebody's asked for a cut, and I'm like, no, sorry, no, overrule. And you are the person that I do not feel bad doing that with.
I'm sorry. Anyways, so our teammates were Adi Asulin and Ami Zamir, both Israeli players. And they're both super fun, super nice people.
Yeah.
I feel like now I have to say especially Ami. No, that's nothing against Adi. I mean, they're both just like the nicest people ever, and they're both so much fun. But one night we went on a boat. We were just walking. This was so random. We were just walking through Wrocław, and there was this like small little party boat that was just like taking people through like tours around the river, and the driver was like, come on the boat. So
I think Adi had found it. On the internet.
Oh really? I thought we just walked by.
No, I think she had researched it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, we got on this boat, and there's like this like I think we thought it was just going to be us at first or something. I don't know. But then this like group of like maybe like 5 young like probably in their like early 20s, Polish kids come. And, or I can't say kids, they're older. What am I saying? Kids. Polish young adults
Yeah.
come on the boat and like they're all like drinking, having a good time. And then we could do song requests. And I don't know if we requested or it just came up, but the Macarena came on. And you know, anyone who has known me long enough knows that I am a sucker for the Macarena. Like I you know, I'm dancing, I don't know what dance move to do. It doesn't matter the song, I'm doing the Macarena.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we were playing What Are the Odds? So for the viewers and listeners who don't know what Are the Odds is, you say okay, you have a dare. So let's say, okay, I'll do a dare now. John, I dare you to shave your head.
Okay.
What are the odds?
1 in 7,000.
Okay, so what's gonna happen now is John and I are gonna go 3, 2, 1, and we're both gonna say a number.
Okay.
If we both say the same number, then John has to shave his head. It's I mean, I don't make the rules, it's just how the game works, you know? If you have any respect for the game, then John is going to shave his head. So I guess now we have to do it for the viewers and listeners.
Okay.
Wait, I need to think. Okay, I got it. I have my number. This is the one. This is the one.
Okay.
1, 2, or sorry, wait. 3, 2, 1, 2,573. Okay, so shockingly, we did not say the same number. So John doesn't have to shave his head, but that's what we were doing on the boat. We were coming up with dares and we were saying numbers, and one of the dares was, what are the odds you go over there and try to do the Macarena with that group of Polish young adults that we have not talked to once, and they're all doing their own thing. So I believe I did the what are the odds, and I probably gave like a 2. I probably just like wanted to do it anyways. Anyways, then I had to go do the Macarena with them, and we find out that they're like ballerinas, and they have this like show happening. So it was honestly like a very memorable and like kind of strange but like awesome moment where, you know, one day you're just like at home and the next day you're on a boat doing the Macarena with some Polish ballerinas. But that was kind of, I feel like that was kind of our experience all throughout the tournament, John, where we were just doing like random really fun things. Like, should we talk about the what are the odds game where I almost jumped into a lake?
Yeah.
It wasn't a lake, it was a huge fountain.
Yeah.
Well, we were playing what are the odds before a session, and you know, I'm young, I can be dumb sometimes, and I sometimes maybe like I don't manage risk enough because for the dare of what are the odds that you go and you jump into this massive fountain that's basically like a lake with all your clothes on, like 15 minutes before the session of bridge with no change of clothes. Like I was just gonna go back into the playing hall just soaking wet. I don't even know if I would be allowed to play.
What was the incentive though? Like why were you willing to? Wasn't this around when we were with Short and Barbara and we were?
Yeah.
Were they somehow involved in that?
Well, John, the incentive is having respect for the game.
Oh wait, were you just doing it to show off how what are the odds works? Is that why maybe?
No, I just like for some reason I just felt like this what are the odds dare deserved 20. Which is just way too low for something
So
like that.
Chances are 1 in 20 that you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah. And even then, like, I think that people tend to get it a little more than 1 in 20 because people like know the quote unquote random numbers that people try to do, the numbers that like aren't so obvious, but then everyone always does them, and then Anyways, Johnny over here was gonna say his number, and
it was 19, I think.
I think it was 17. No, it was 19. It was 19. And he was really thinking about it. He was looking into my eyes and thinking about it. And then Short is like, I know the number she's gonna say. I know the exact number. And he's like, John, come on. I need you to really think about this. Like, really, really think. And then John's like, okay, okay. So then now John starts to overthink it. John has like decided he's gonna go with 19 at this point. He's decided he's gonna go with 19, but now Short is making him overthink, and then you switch your number. And Short was like, I know the number. He texted Barbara Firm the number to confirm that he knew the number. And we go 3, 2, 1, I say 19, and you said like some other number. And Short was furious. He was like, come on, John, how could you? And you were so bad. You were like, Short, I had the number. So that's the story of how I almost came into the playing hall soaking wet.
But didn't we do what are the odds with Barbara where she was going to have to go in a trash can, get in a trash can or something?
I think she gave like 5,000 for like jumping into a trash can. Actually, Boo's probably higher than that. But yeah, I remember that was maybe the most fun I've had at a lunch.
Yeah, that was a lot
sessions.
of fun. We're just BSing with Barbara and Short.
Yeah.
This is Barbara Firm and Short Brink.
Yeah.
And they were playing together. Their team was in the well, they ended up winning the mixed teams. And Barbara, I mean, she was just like, she's older, but she's a lot of fun, you know. Short is very funny, and
yeah,
this is not a good story, but we had a great time, great memories of that. Sorry, I can't convey it in more specific terms.
Well, you almost had to. Sorry, I know we said it's not a good story, but you almost had to go to the head of the WBF and ask him if you wanted to trade sweaters.
Wait,
Do you remember that?
no,
That you were wearing a sweater.
yeah.
We saw the head of the WBF. He was wearing a sweater, and I said, John, what are the odds that you go over and ask him if he would like to trade sweaters?
What did I give you for that?
I mean, you're not as brave as me. Probably like 500.
You know, it's funny that you said so. My sister is having her wedding like reception at the beginning of next month, and it's funny that you asked about shaving my head for what are the odds because when they had the photos taken, so my sister got married during COVID, there was no fanfare or anything, and so they got dressed up and we had photos taken like 2 years ago. And I had shaved my head for those photos.
Yeah.
So I couldn't give you, I had to be very conservative with my what are the odds number here because I hated having my head shaved in those photos. Like sometimes I've shaved my head and I think I look good. This was not then.
Yeah.
So I had to be, I don't want the viewers / listeners to think that I'm a total wuss, because if the what are the odds are something that I were willing to happen, I might be more, you know, make it more conceivable.
Sorry, John. I just feel like we're not really including our listeners right now, so I would just like to contextualize that John's hair is super, super long. Like, he has hairs, it's pretty much down to his, like, hips, and, like, John is a really tall guy. So, it's actually dyed blue. Half of it is blue, and half of it is orange. Huge Denver Bronco fan. John McAllister just has to show his love for his team. So, for all the listeners there, I just wanted to include you here.
So this is the first time that we've potentially had to move an episode because the guest went to prom last night. And how was prom?
It was okay. I go to like a relatively small Jewish school, so all of our school dances end up having kind of like a bar bat mitzvah vibe, including the prom. But I mean, I still had a good time. Yeah, it was fun.
Do you think anybody from your school will listen to this podcast?
I told my friend, I slept at her house last night, and I was like, sorry, I have to go film a podcast. No, I get teased by my friends all the time. about like bridge related stuff because honestly, the stuff that I say I have to go do is just like it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's so, you know, other kids it's like, oh yeah, like family vacation or like I don't know, like oh, like I have like a basketball tournament. Me, I'm like, yeah, I'm going on a bridge podcast. Yeah, like I was doing commentary recently. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a Twitch stream to like comment on a bridge match right now. So I definitely get like teased by my friends, obviously lovingly, but this was sort of one of those moments where
Were
I
you
was just
doing
like, yeah.
commentary on the match that you were playing in?
No, no. I was actually planning on doing commentary, but a quick secret for some people out there is that whenever Jan Martell asks someone to do something, but they're being able to do it is like contingent on them losing, they always win.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh.
Jan, I think pretty much before every match was like, "Hey, can you do commentary for this one? Can you do commentary for that one?" And I kept having to cancel on her
Wow.
because we
Love
kept
it.
like unexpectedly winning. So maybe if John, maybe if you had agreed to do commentary on the Open. Sorry,
Nobody's
that was.
asking me to do commentary.
Oh, come on, why not?
I know. It's
We'll do.
annoying.
Do you want to do commentary together?
Yeah, I'd love to do commentary.
All right, we can probably do like tomorrow. I think Jan is looking.
I'm playing in Bridge all day tomorrow. I'm playing. There's a
Oh,
regional in Richmond, which is an hour away.
oh, nice. Who are you playing with?
I'm playing with a woman named Deborah Gardner, who is. We are both on the District 6 Ed Foundation
Oh,
board,
uh-huh.
and so we're friends through that.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
you guys are both like my boss.
No, no. This is the District 6. This is different from the
Ah,
ACBL
I
Education
see.
Foundation.
Yeah. Well, that should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm always. I love playing bridge, so
Really? No, I'm
absolutely.
sorry. Yeah.
Like playing in person at a regional, fired up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like there were too many years. There were like 2 years too many, I think. If I remember, it was like 2 years where there was no bridge in person. So now, I mean, just being able to play again is like such a breath of fresh air. Yeah. So I
You
definitely feel
think
you on that.
you think your dad will listen to this conversation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
What
Yeah.
about your mom or any of your siblings?
Um, my honestly, I think maybe if my mom or dad sends this to my grandma, shout out to Jill, by the way, if if you're listening, Jill, um, then I think my grandma would send it to the family group chat.
Ah,
Um, so that's probably if that happens, then maybe my siblings will listen.
does your grandmother Jill play bridge?
No, but she likes to like keep up on Facebook. If she sees me like tagged in something bridge related, then she gets excited and she sends it to the family group chat. So shout out to Jill.
Is Jill your mom or dad's mom?
Jill's my dad's mom. Yeah,
Where does she
super
live?
super cool lady. She lives in Palm Springs.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, she's sometimes she spends a lot of time in New York because that's where my dad's brother lives. So they have a granddaughter there, and then Palm Springs is like not too far from here. They actually used to live in our house. Um,
In Palo Alto?
yeah, so I've definitely been lucky to have grown up very close to Grandma Jill and Grandpa Peter. Um, yeah,
Are those both your? Is Peter your dad's father?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I tried to teach Peter bridge. Um, I don't remember why we stopped. Honestly, the answer is probably just he didn't like it.
Hmm.
Yeah, but he has a BBO account. Has a BBO account if I remember right. I tried to get him on the site. Yeah, but I mean, my my uncle wasn't a professional basketball player or anything, but he like I think he was like a walk on or almost a walk on for UCLA for basketball.
Wow.
So I don't know if that would qualify him for Bridge with Ballers. For those of you that don't know, John has a web series. Well, I am the perfect guest right now. I'm the perfect guest right now. Normally when
Pimping my
people
stuff.
normally when people go on stuff, they like promote their own stuff, but I'm just like a walking publicity machine.
Billboard.
Yeah,
Billboard.
but John has a web series called Bridge with Ballers where he tries to teach bridge to retired professional athletes. Yeah.
A lot of that is what you just said is true.
Oh, okay.
I haven't actually. So I am in the midst of hopefully having my first guest. I haven't actually recorded an episode with an actual baller, but there's a guy named Chris Long who played in the NFL on 2 Super Bowl winning teams.
Oh, wow.
And he lives in Charlottesville, where I live, where the University of Virginia is, which we were hoping the entire University of Virginia community was hoping that Olivia would grace us for 4 years of
Hey, take it.
dedicated studenthood and be part of our burgeoning bridge club here.
Take it up
And
with the application readers, man.
every time we talked about this, you would say, "Oh, I just filled out the application for you. I had 5 minutes to spare, and I filled out the application for UVA." Wow, great! I'm sure you really impressed them
Yeah.
with your varied resume.
Yeah, so I had maybe like 10 minutes to write like 3 essays, which is like not the best use of time management on my end, I must admit. Um,
Like I was
but
trying to get you and your dad to come to a UVA basketball game. I offered you
oh
tickets to the
yeah.
Duke game to come visit Charlottesville to see what you're missing. And you're going to Colorado College, where one of my best friend's brothers went to school.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean I'm pretty excited for it. I definitely like to focus on like one thing at a time because when I focus on multiple things at once, I find myself wanting to do one thing a lot and the other thing not so much, and then I procrastinate on the thing I don't want to do with the thing
Right.
I do want to do.
Yeah.
So, for some context, Colorado College has a special block program where you take one class at a time instead of all your classes at once. So I
Oh.
think that'll be like a pretty good fit for me to just be able to go one at a time. And then also it's nice because I have like some AP credits, which means I can like take a few of the blocks off and then go to the nationals without missing any school.
Oh, wow.
My dad was texting me about that. He was trying to convince me that it was the place for me. And so he was like texting me like, "Look, if you do this and this and this, you can go to all the nationals."
What is the betting line in the Schireson house about you actually attending college? Because you're taking a gap year and you're going to be plying your trade as a bridge pro. And so, yeah, what can you will you speak to that question, please?
Yeah, so this is actually like a conversation I've had a lot of times because so typically when you tell someone that you're making a decision, usually the reaction is like, "Oh, I think you'll really like that." Oh, and like let's say somebody's trying to give you advice. "I'm not sure that you would have the best time doing that." Something like that.
Right.
But the reaction to when I tell people that I'm taking a gap year has overwhelmingly been, "I think you're gonna like that too much. I think that's gonna be too good of a choice for you, and I think that you're not actually it's gonna be gap years." Um, but I think that a lot of people that I've talked to probably think it's going to be more than 1 year. I mean, I would say it's going to be a maximum of 2. Like, I'm pretty confident knowing myself that I could say that. But I would say, me personally, I think it's like 80% 1, 20% 2. Because I definitely do want to go to college. Like, that is something I want to do. First of all, I know it's going to be a ton of fun. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone pretty much does at college. It's just super fun. And
Yeah.
I definitely like learning things. So I want to like go and advance my education, I guess. I don't know.
How involved in these conversations is your dad versus your mother? Because your dad, knows bridge, plays bridge, whereas your mom is sort of not immersed in the bridge world in the same, in nearly like your dad is.
Yeah, I guess they're both pretty involved in the conversations. I guess in slightly different ways. My dad is more involved in the way where he's like, "Come on, you please come to college. Like you can go to all the nationals." And my mom is more like, "I feel like that you'll like this college better than this one," type of deal. I'm like, I feel like my dad's a little more worried about the gap year problem, but I genuinely am. I genuinely am planning on going to college. Like that is like something that I very much plan on doing and like am excited to do. I just think that I mean I really like to play bridge and I also want to like learn and like get a normal job and go to college. But I guess in high school it's been a bit of a struggle to like do both at once and like put all my effort into both. So I think college will be a little more rewarding if I feel like I don't also have to like be focusing on bridge as much. Because I feel like if I play bridge for a year and then I go to college, I'll feel like I won't really have like lost time, if that makes sense. I don't know how to like I feel like I'll like be better at like focusing on college and it'll just be a better balance eventually.
So when is your actual high school graduation? What day?
Like June something.
You don't. How is it possible? In my high school, every Monday at assembly, two guys would get up and they would announce the number of days until graduation. They would say like an exact, like there are 251 days till graduation, and that was how the assembly would end. But I also went to a boarding school, an all-male boarding school too, so it's not the same.
I go to a Jewish school and there's something called counting the Omer, which is like the days until the Omer. So
Is Omer graduation or something else?
no, Omer is like I think it's like the harvest. It's like a traditional holiday, so it gets its like origins from back when there was a harvest.
Well, there still is.
So what I guess you had the counting till graduation. I had the counting of the Omer.
You don't even know what day you're graduating. And by the way,
Okay, I'm finding
how come
it,
I
I'm
didn't
finding
get a graduation announcement? Normally you send those out to your, the people that are close to you that you want to come.
This is actually awkward, but I don't. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So I actually didn't know that that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Thank
It's
you.
basically it's a money grab. It's a cash grab.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sending out graduation announcements. Sure, of course.
Oh, so is the idea there that you like give me money?
Yeah, give you something
wait.
for graduating.
I gotta go drop this off. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, yeah. I'll find the date and I'll send that to you. So, that'd be cool.
But the reason I ask is like, so you've got a gap year. I mean, you're graduating from high school sometime soon,
Very
seemingly.
soon, yeah.
Although your dad was worried that wasn't going to happen, you've managed to like you're on track. But like,
No, I'm kidding.
what is how much of this gap year, like what exactly do you have? You're playing in the Junior World Championships. You're probably going to Chicago for the Nationals. Like what beyond that do you have set up?
So, okay, first of all, graduation, June 11th.
Boom.
Boom. And to answer your question, I mean, there's a lot of tournaments that I want to go to. So, my plan is to just like probably live in New York or something because I have a lot of friends in New York. I know. I mean, historically, the bridge scene has been good in New York. I know it's kind of
Right.
taken a huge hit because of COVID, but I have family there, a lot of friends there, and I think it will still be a good place to be a bridge player. So my plan is to live there, get a normal job. I don't know, maybe like Starbucks or something, and
Why would you do that?
because because I I mean I don't
What about being a
like I
bridge pro? Like, why not be a bridge pro in New York?
well I get some work for bridge, but at least at this point I don't get like enough where I don't know how much I will end up getting, but we'll see. Basically, if I feel like I need to work like at Starbucks or something to supplement it, then I'll do that. But I mean, hopefully I won't have to, and I can just
Please,
like
like, let us know, and for the enterprising listeners slash viewers, if we could maybe send somebody on assignment to capture Olivia, taking their venti order, that would be worth it. We'd love to. We will do something, to reciprocate.
yeah.
If this happens, I am taking the under on any employment that is not bridge related. Just
Okay.
for the
Okay.
record here.
Okay. But I mean, if you ever want an Americano, you know where to come.
But who are you playing with? Are you playing with your under 21 team in the nationals?
I honestly don't know.
What?
I think I think me and Michael had like talked about some plans for that. I'm playing with I don't know if he's posted a bit on Bridge Winners. I don't know. Do you know Alan Frank?
I recognize him from Bridge Winners. I don't know him.
Yeah. Well, he's a super nice guy. If Alan is listening, then shout out to Alan. So I'm playing with him for the last 3 days, which I'm excited about. We played together for the last 3 days of the Summer National last year, and he pretty much every time when we got to the table, everyone thought he was my dad. Because there aren't that many young female bridge players, so
Yeah.
it's not a bad guess that I would be playing with my dad because I do play with my dad a lot, but this happened to not be my dad. Anyways,
Are you playing the Swiss or are you playing the pairs?
we're playing the Swiss. Anyways, though, he had talked about how he should have a pin on his shirt for the next time we play that says "Not her father."
Right.
So maybe I'll get that pin made and I'll give it to him in Chicago. But I can be a bit of a last minute planner. I know there are people that like to have their plans like a year in advance, and me, I just see what falls into place, and it's worked out really well for me. I mean, the mixed team that we had was a little last minute, especially we were supposed to have Bronya Jenkins, but she had bigger and better things to do, like run the ACBL, which, by the way, I think she'll do a really good job with. But so then we had to like do some like moving around to get the team together in time, and obviously that went pretty well. And when our team was maybe the most last minute team I've ever been on
Our team.
in Providence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty last minute.
it was like the night before I got a text from Michael like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he sent me like 20 pages of system notes. Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
Which you knew it like a champ. How much do you and your dad play
Um,
together?
Honestly, we don't we don't really just like play casual bridge together that often. Sometimes like he'll have a training session and I'll join in on that, but it's not like we're like sitting down after dinner and like playing bridge together. We definitely talk about bridge a lot though. Like we'll just like send each other random texts about random hands. You know, at least I've been like kibitzing and interesting. I mean, kibitzing the trials, and like interesting hands come up. So,
Do you ever actually speak to your dad, or is it just communication over text message?
oh, it's like a chat GPT vibe, you know, like it's just no, yeah, we do talk, but I mean, especially because I was gone for 9 days, so we texted each other a lot of hands. So
Did you
we
have
talk.
your hotel room booked for 9 days, or did you have to like keep adding to your room?
My dad booked it for all 9 days, and I told him he was an idiot.
Strong, strong move,
I
Max.
was like, what? Why would you like just book it for
It's
two and
very
extend
easy.
it?
It's very easy to cancel it. Honestly, the
Yeah,
USPF
yeah,
does a great job with that. So that was sort of a veteran move by your dad. But I love that you actually had
yeah.
to you
I
stayed
mean,
there for the whole time.
I literally like I
That's
like
so
called
sweet.
him because he booked it for me. I like checked in and they were like, oh yeah, like 9 days. And I called him. I was like come on, don't be silly. And we ended up needing all 9 days. So or
Ooh.
not we I but yeah. I mean, glad
What
it worked
happened?
out like that.
The Caprera match, you guys won. Like, I mean, did you win it on the last board?
No, I think I think it was like almost like that, but there were some time penalties that went against the other team. So I don't think it ended up being like that. I'm not sure.
Oh,
But that
so
was,
if there were no time penalties, you would have won it on the last board. Maybe that's the
I
difference.
think, yeah. I mean, it was a very close match, and then our next round was also a very close match. I think the Caprera one we won by like 10 or something. I don't know. It was actually the Pollock team, but we were talking about Dave, which is why we're saying Caprera.
Right.
And the Lewis match, we won by like 2, which is just like
Were you playing the last set, or were you watching? How were you engaging in these close matches?
we actually didn't play the last sets, me and Sam.
Yeah.
The first one against Pollock, I think our teammates were like doing well or something, and we were like, you guys just keep going, and they clutched it up. So then the next time against Lewis, we almost played, but then we decided now our teammates closed it out last time. Let's just give them the reins. Because that we in the Lewis one we came in, there was a half day left to be played, and we were down by 40.
Wow.
So 30 boards, 40 amps. It's not impossible, but I mean, obviously, it's not a position you want to be in.
Right.
So me and Sam played the morning, and we came back 28 imps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were both feeling good. I know Sam really wanted to play, because I mean, we had a good set.
Yeah.
But we decided to trust our teammates because they had just done it the
Yeah.
2 days before.
Yeah.
So we decided they were the clutch ones, and they played the last one and came back. I think they won the last one by 14. So we ended up winning by 2. And then the next 2 matches did not come down to the wire as much.
What were those comparisons like that when you're winning these close matches?
We didn't really compare because we all saw on the Love Bridge tablets. I think that's it's probably
You would look at you would look at the score before you
yeah.
came out.
I I honestly just can't help myself. I
Yeah.
think most people just can't help themselves. But I think honestly, it's probably better for team chemistry for everyone to just wait and compare together. maybe. I don't
Clearly
know.
not in this case though, because you guys were. So everybody was looking at the Love Bridge and knew what the situation was
Yeah, I think most people were doing that.
on your team.
Yeah, it's for those of you watching and listening who might not know that this tournament was played on tablets,
Computers, actually.
computers, yeah, where there were two people in a hotel room who were screen mates. So after the match, you could kind of see the running score of the
Yeah,
match.
right.
If your room finished first, then you couldn't see the whole all the boards because they obviously hadn't all been played. But yeah, I mean, I I was a very I can be a very nervous teammate, honestly. Like I try not to show it to my teammates so much because I don't want them to feel like pressure. And I'm fine with whatever they do. Like I'm always I mean, I know my teammates will like do their best, so like I try not to like make them feel any pressure. Maybe I accidentally do sometimes, but I'm a very nervous teammate because I just like to play bridge. And so I think I just tried to take naps during the last set when I could.
Take a nap at 7 o'clock at night.
I'm a huge. I wouldn't say I'm a supporter of naps because I feel like the way that I nap is maybe a little unhealthy, but I'm a huge fan of naps. Personal fan. I'll take naps at like 10 p.m.
Who is the most fired up on your team? But as you guys are having this improbable run.
Most fired up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we were all like fired up in our own ways. Yeah. I mean, I was pretty fired up. Like I was just like excited because at least at the beginning it was just like we barely made it out of the round robin. So
Yeah.
now I'm just like happy to be playing the knockout match and it's like
Right.
super close and we barely make it out the knockout match and we barely make it out of another knockout match, then we make it out of another. Like I honestly I was not expecting to be in the position to even think of
Right.
qualifying for the US and I was just really happy to be playing because I got to play a lot more bridge than I thought I was going to be able to, which is always nice. So I mean, I was just pretty fired up every time to get to play 2 more days of bridge. And I think that was kind of the sentiment of the rest of the team. But as things got on, we were more like, oh my God, we actually are in this.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You were right in it. Absolutely.
Maybe
Absolutely.
maybe not pretty early into the last match we were not in it. But I mean I was just super stoked to have gotten it that far anyways.
You think you guys were intimidated by that team?
Well, I mean I really tried not to be. I think I was a little rusty, or not rusty, rocky in the first segment out of 15 and then I remember being like pretty happy with how I played in the second and then after that it like it was like fine, but I mean it was pretty clear that it wasn't really going to matter pretty early in the match. We were down by like over 100 pretty early. But anyways, I've grown up around the Rosenbergs for my entire bridge life pretty much. And like to me the Rosenbergs are like gods. Like like the Rosenbergs are just like bridge royalty to me. Obviously, like I'm close with the Rosenbergs, all of them, Kevin, Debbie, Michael. It was really great to like get to hang out with them so much at the tournament, and
And they were rooting for you too, I'm sure. No, seriously.
maybe
I mean, obviously not in the last match, but
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure they were rooting like their
Oh
faces
yeah.
off for you guys.
I mean, yeah, like I remember Debbie was probably like happier than I was after a few of our wins, but like the Rosenbergs have just taught me like so much about bridge and just been such a massive influence on my bridge life. And then to like have to like play a 2 day match against Debbie and Michael, it's just like I was very, very excited, but it felt like kind of a surreal moment. Because I've played against him before, but never
In a something like that.
in like something that felt more real,
Yeah,
where
like an
it wasn't,
elimination match.
yeah, and it wasn't just like even like I don't know if I have played them in like some sort of like national Swiss or something like that.
Mm,
Like something where obviously they want to get like a good result and they want to like advance themselves in the tournament, but it's not like win or go home. It's not
yeah,
like if they lose to us,
right.
they are not going to represent the US, and if they win, they are. So I mean, for me it was kind of surreal
Mm.
to be playing them in that context, and playing them, I realized, yeah, they are royalty. I mean, they're both very, very strong players. This is Debbie Michael Rosenberg, obviously. Yeah.
What was your dad like during the run?
My dad, my dad was the most excited for sure, actually. I'm just sorry. I don't want to go on my computer, but like, I'm just gonna look in my inbox really fast to like see how many emails. Okay, that's one, two, three, uh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could go on, but needless to say, there were a lot of emails that were very excited. That's another Max thing. He's the king of the email. We text each other stuff, but he also likes to just like email me sometimes.
What would he put in an email?
It just like here's one, like the subject is keep it up / good luck tomorrow. And then this is to Amber Lynn, who was also on the Rosenthal team, who I'm also very close with, Debbie, Michael, and me. It was nice that you were both leading, but I liked it better when Olivia was leading by more. Oh, that's so like stuff like that. He would just constantly be sending, and then actually when it looked like we could actually make it to the final, I think it was after we even beat the Lewis team. Like he was just so excited. He called me and he's like, "Would it be distracting if I came?"
Wow.
So he wanted to come and be there in person.
Wow.
To be there, but I mean, I told him that like I would be happy to have him there, but at the same time, it would probably be a little bit distracting.
Mm.
And that's not because I think my dad is like a distracting person. It's just
No.
because if you have someone that's there like specifically
Yeah.
to do nothing else,
I think
yeah,
that's totally fair. It's not like Bridge is not really like this. It's not a spectator. It's not as a spectator. It's not like you. It's not like a basketball game. You know. It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, he totally understood, and like he
Yeah.
was very nice. He's
That's
just
really
very
sweet
excited.
though that he
Yeah,
wanted
yeah, yeah.
that
No,
he wanted to come.
yeah, it was exciting. Yeah, nice to do well sometimes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna stay after the junior tournament, the junior worlds? You think you're gonna stay in Europe for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it ends a few weeks before Marrakesh.
Oh, you think you're gonna go to Marrakesh anyway?
Well, I might play in like the transnational
Sure.
stuff. Because I mean, if
Why
I'm
not?
not doing anything else and I'm like,
Absolutely. Playing the World
it's not
Championships.
not in the area, but close enough to the area. I mean, at least for someone who lives in that US, it's a lot closer to be in like the Netherlands and then to
Yeah.
go to Marrakesh from there. So maybe I'll stay and play in Marrakesh. That would be super cool. I mean, one of the huge benefits of like being a bridge player and taking gap year and getting to play in all these like junior stuff and all that stuff is that I get to travel. Not only travel the world, but like travel places that I would not go to otherwise. Like Veldhoven is where the juniors are gonna be, and I'm super excited to see it. But like I don't think I would have ever gone to Veldhoven otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think bridge not only gives you the opportunity to travel a lot, which is really cool, but it also gives you the opportunity to go to kind of places that at least I would have thought of as being like a little random. Like you kind of get to be almost a bit more immersed when you're going to these. It's kind of I don't know how big Beethoven is, but at least like Salsa Maggiore is like kind of a small place, and you really get to like immerse yourself. I feel like a little more when you're not just like going there to visit, but you're going there to like exist and do your thing, play bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think your siblings like how much do you think that they get it? Like how much you enjoy bridge, how important it is to you. Do you think they just totally miss the boat on that, or you think that they can? I mean, it would be hard to appreciate, I think, if I were in their shoes, for example.
Yeah, well they've seen my dad kind of fall in love with the game before I did, so I think that made it maybe a little less weird to them. I'm sure it was very weird when my dad was first starting to play and like he really, really loved it. Like, oh, okay, our dad is now obsessed with this random card game. But I mean, I think they both like understand how important it is to me. My sister played a little bit of bridge. She actually no, not a little bit, specifically one hand. She she bid and made 5 diamonds, which is like no walk in the park. I mean, 11 tricks when you're playing your first hand of bridge is a lot.
Wow, that's very impressive.
And then she decided it was not for her.
How the hell did she even know to bid to 5 diamonds playing her first hand? She must have had
I
some
think
helpers.
I think my dad maybe was like, "Oh, your hand is pretty good, and you have diamonds." And 5 diamonds gets a big score. That was probably what happened there. I mean,
Great
six
Max
di-
impression, by the way. Stellar. Stellar
Yeah,
impression.
yeah. Um. Anyways, she's the only bridge player to have never gone down. So yeah, and that also, 6 diamonds always makes, the saying, but five
Bart
diamonds,
Bramley has that on his convention card. He has 6 S, I think it's
S damn.
SDAM on his
Yeah,
convention card.
but I mean, like, 5 diamonds is no walk in the park, though. You know, it's not F damn, it's S damn. Um, yeah, and my brother, he used to play some like junior tournaments. He was never that serious about it, but I mean, he enjoyed playing. He was more always a more casual player, and he actually, sportsmanship's award run in the family because he actually, this is such a ridiculous story that I'm about to tell,
All
but
right.
he won the sportsmanship award at the youth nationals in Toronto. That was probably like 2017 or something. I don't know. Oh wow,
Yeah, that
it's a
was
while ago.
2017.
Anyways, uh, he was always just very goofy at the table at that tournament. Like I think his opponents like generally had a good time, but like he wasn't like it wasn't anything. Okay, wait. So, I don't know what the.
This is your
Okay,
big story. You texted me about the story. I knew it was coming when I mean, I wasn't expecting, I wasn't like wanting you to tell it necessarily or not when I asked the question, but I knew when you were leading up to this that you were going to tell this story.
yeah.
And now you don't even, I mean, this
So
is,
no, the problem right now is what I'm trying to say is that like my brother was like nice and funny at the tournament, but like he didn't do anything that you would kind of expect a bunch of people to like nominate him or vote
oh,
for him for the sportsmanship award. But
okay.
I'm trying to say that without like trying to say my brother's like an asshole or anything because he's
Okay.
not. He's a super super nice guy, but he just like didn't meet that many people, so like you wouldn't expect him to like win something like this,
Hmm.
but basically the directors went up at the end of the youth nationals for the award ceremony, and there's all these trophies, but the biggest one is the sportsmanship trophy. It's like tall, it's huge,
Yeah.
and they go up. And normally, what happens, if you've been to as many youth nationals as I have. You know what happens is the directors take nominations and then they put like I think like the top 3 most nominated people or something like that on a little ballot, and you can vote for who you want to win. It's been quite the contentious award over the years. Actually, the one year there was a girl who campaigned for it. I probably shouldn't say that.
Did
Anyways,
she get it?
no, I think that year Darwin won. But anyways, the director goes up and gives a very heartfelt speech. You know, normally we have nominations for this award and we have a voting process, but we just heard a story that was so heartfelt that we decided to go around that, because as the directors, it is still our discretion to choose who wins the award.
Yeah.
And so we actually decided to skip the voting because we heard a story of there was a crying junior and he was really upset about himself for how he had been doing, and he was really upset about a play he made. And, you know, this individual took him aside and he cheered him up and he told him it's okay. It's okay, everyone makes mistakes. And he made him realize that it's okay, and then he got him laughing, and by the end of the round, the kid was at the next table laughing, having a good time. And that story was so touching. So we want to give this sportsmanship award to Jacob Schireson. I wish I could tell you the look on my brother's face, but I actually can't because he wasn't there. So I'm 2016, how old was I? I was like 12.
17.
Yeah. And I was not, we didn't even make it to day 2 of the youth, or
You were
the
playing
second
with
session.
Jacob was your partner?
No, I was playing with Miranda Schuyler. We didn't make it to like the second session of the youth pairs or something. Like
Actually, I was at the ceremony in Toronto for the. I remember that now. I forgot about that.
But my brother, he went with my dad to get sushi. They skipped the ceremony because, I mean, we hadn't won anything. Like, I definitely was never gonna, at that point, win any event there, and my brother didn't win any event, and like neither of us had made that big of an impression to like win the sportsmanship award or anything. But they call him up, and like I'm 12, so like for me this was like the biggest moment of my life. Like I was like, oh my god, my brother just won the sportsmanship award at the youth national bridge tournament. Oh my god, like I was like losing my marbles.
Yeah.
And I actually, at that point in my life, I didn't have a phone yet. I had like a little like it was like almost like a phone, but it couldn't make calls.
Yeah.
So it was pretty useless. And so I was trying to call my brother. So I was like, can I have someone's phone? I need to tell my brother this just happened. I need to tell him. He needs to know. So then like I'm like making this whole scene, and I'm like, Jacob, you won the sportsmanship award. Oh my god. And he still makes fun of me to this day of how crazy excited I was when I called him. So him and my dad are like, oh shoot, like there's like an award that's like waiting for us, and we're like not there. So they run back through the streets of Toronto to come get this award. And then after, I'm like, Jacob, that was so nice what you did for that crying boy. And he's like, what? So what happened was Jacob Freeman had comforted this crying boy and like cheered him up and done all of that, and the directors heard about a Jacob who had done that, so they thought it was Jacob Schireson. So now they make this whole big scene to like congratulate the wrong Jacob. They went around they like were like, we're not doing the polling process, we're doing something special this year for actually happened to be the wrong person. But then when it was sorted out, they ended up splitting the award. I think my brother like put it on his college apps because he still did win it. Like he's, whether he like meant to or not, he did win it. Yeah, but that's I mean, that's still can't believe that happened. And like literally like for some context, like at that tournament, I went swimming with my brother and his friend. And also being 12 years old, I didn't have a swimsuit, but I didn't care. I just like jumped in like shirts and shorts. A shirt and short. I don't know
Yeah.
whatever. I just jumped in my clothes and then like I got out and I was like, okay, can I go back to your room to like get in like a towel and like maybe like change or something? Because my brother and his friend were staying in their own room.
Yeah.
And my dad and I were staying in our own room. And he said no. And my dad was playing, so he left me soaking wet.
The winner of the sportsmanship award.
Yeah, I was sitting outside of my hotel room waiting for my dad for like an hour, just like
Oh my God.
soaking wet on the
You
floor.
didn't have your own key?
No, because I was also like 12 and really dumb.
Oh my God.
And I also like didn't think to go to the front desk because I was embarrassed because I was soaking wet.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's Jacob Schireson of the Sportsmanship Award.
I actually haven't heard that. I guess you have told me that story before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have heard that story before. But that's for our listeners and viewers.
Yeah. Don't forget the listeners. Yeah.
We're just burying that joke. just to the grave. That joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when do you think you're going to move to New York?
I think probably after the juniors, because I mean I have like tournaments pretty much all throughout July. I mean I might or might not go to the Long Beach Regional, but I can drive down, so it's a long drive, but it's not so hard for me to go there. So I'll probably end up going to that one. And if that happens, I'll literally be at like bridge tournaments for the entirety of July. And then August I go to juniors and then potentially transnationals in Marrakesh. So, I mean, if I end up doing that, then like it wouldn't really make sense for me to move before that and then just be gone for like 2 months.
And you're playing. I saw you're playing the mix with a French person who I don't know in Strasbourg.
Yeah. I'm just trying to go to as many bridge tournaments as I can.
Are you playing the Open as well
jumping.
there, or?
No, I have grad.
Oh, you have to come back for graduation.
Yeah, unlucky.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I mean, a solution would just be to not graduate and then I could play the Open, but
You don't have a great offer. The offer's not good enough for the Open yet.
yeah. Anyways, so yeah, he's a French junior, super nice kid, good player, so should be fun. I feel like one thing that I should just mention, because this feels like a very John and Olivia story. It's not long. John and I we were in like an airport shuttle to go from like the plane to the airport. And this was honestly probably like the most embarrassing moment I've had in public.
Oh.
I mean, this was like, because I think at this point the bus was stopped. Like, it wasn't even moving. And this is like a super crowded bus. Like, you don't want to like move the wrong way to like bump people. And I just face planted. Like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I just entirely face planted. Well, I mean, like, I didn't actually, like, but it was like pretty much the equivalent of like a face plant.
Oh my God.
You know, like, I pretty much just felt, if you remember, I fell to the ground. Because I had two backpacks. I had a backpack on both sides, and I guess I just like.
I feel like you fell on your behind. I didn't feel like you fell on your face. I thought you like sort of collapsed on.
Okay.
Yeah. Face plant's different.
We'll for those of you, I'll say for the consumers of this episode.
Thank you.
We'll roll the tapes and we'll make sure to get this in the podcast notes. But yeah, I mean, it's not a super important story, but I just feel like I need to remind us of the fact that that happened.
It was a fun trip. It was you were a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
fun to. It was gutting not to qualify for the teams,
yeah,
but I really enjoyed. I really
yeah,
enjoyed the time we had together over there.
yeah. No, it's super fun. Actually, yeah. You remember when you tried to convince this guy that I was your daughter so that I could get into like some like airport lounge?
Oh, I don't remember
Okay,
that.
we don't need to have that in there.
I mean, it's
Remember?
legit. Like, I mean, you could
Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
yeah. No, I remember because like they had those like big fancy bottles of water and like,
Oh,
eh,
right.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Are you on a team for Strasbourg, or are you just playing pairs? I just saw you in the pairs. Like, I didn't know how to search the teams. There are all these random team names, but I could search for your name in the pairs easily.
Yeah, I'm only playing the pairs. It's just a little weird, but
Oh, that's a bummer.
yeah, yeah.
Is
Well, if you're playing anyone who's playing the teams, it's not a bummer for them. That was a weird thing to say.
because you'll be wrecking people in the teams.
That was like what I intended to say.
There you
Yeah,
go. That's it.
but
There you go.
yeah, yeah. Hey, confidence in bridge is everything. No, I'm
And
kidding.
then
I'm
it
kidding.
actually sounds like you're saying confidence and not the other thing. What was the other? What it sounded like you're
Competence?
confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Yeah, the two C's, honestly. Honestly, confidence and competence are like I think very probably like up there for like the most important things.